Uh, Obviously, got 2 big days of prep, getting ready for Kentucky, and they obviously, present a lot of problems with their length and defensive ability and scoring ability, and they're so well coached, and I can go on and on. So we got to have 2 good days of practice.
I don't want to look too far ahead, but what would a win over, a ranked team at home mean for you guys this early?
Yeah, I think really, Nikki, for us, it's just, right now we've got to have a good practice today, and we probably won't be able to do much physically just because of, minutes last night, and, which means tomorrow's practice really has to be good because Saturday's kind of a crunch day with an early tip-off. I guess I'm doing a good job of avoiding your question. I think the big thing is just, we just got to get ready to play and then just see what happens. But, we've played really competitive all year. And we just want to play with maximum effort. And I said it last night after the game. I mean, the only way that we're going to be able to play and compete with Kentucky is if we play our A game. We can't bring a B-plus game and expect to compete. I mean, we have to bring our A-plus game to compete with this team, and I truly believe that.
Eric, with Reggie, obviously he didn't have him the start of the year. Then he was playing pretty well. He was kind of down. Then he'd gone through a couple really bad games. I think last night he scored as many as he scored in the 5 before that. How do you keep a guy, keep his head up when he's struggling? How'd you handle Reggie, and how good was it to see him bounce back? And do you think he'd be more consistent moving forward? Yeah,
I think Reggie, he was phenomenal last night. I mean, in all honesty, like his attitude has really been great. Sometimes, or I shouldn't say sometimes, in the past, there's been some players maybe that, aren't in the rotation or don't have the role they want. And some coaches try to kind of keep him at arm's length. And I try to text the guys, even if they're not playing, even if maybe they're not going to text back because they might not be happy on that given night. But the thing that's impressed me with Reggie is he keeps coming to the gym early and getting reps. And believe it or not, he knows our offense like not just one spot, but he knows the 4 and 5 spot as well as anybody. And obviously he missed some games early and was on that scout team. But last night he was great. He did what he was supposed to do. He finished around the rim. I will say that as a theme last night, the guys that were in the dunker spot were really successful because of their, they didn't really smash down and stuff like that when their shot blocker came. And Jimmy and I thought Adrio, Adrio didn't numbers-wise put much, but he had some open dunks and open layups that he could have converted, and Reggie did a great job converting, and then Jimmy did the same thing in that dunker spot. Certainly with Reggie, it's foul trouble. I think that's a big thing, is just trying to keep him out of foul trouble with our defensive schemes and stuff. But great attitude, played phenomenal last night. One of our toughest guys. Obviously, when we play bigger teams, he becomes more and more important. Yeah, I think it would be huge. I mean, it's no secret that we've been trying to figure out, like when Adrio's not in the game, kind of who's that 5, and the natural guy is certainly Reggie. It wasn't at Mississippi State. We went with Scylla, and I thought that worked out from a reaction standpoint. Scylla's 5 rebounds in 11 minutes, and last night, there was no hesitation that Reggie was the first guy in at that spot, and he was phenomenal. So hopefully, he can use that and kind of carry forth, for the next couple games and get a little bit more rhythm and get some more confidence.
Because your teams at Nevada, obviously, they took care of the ball really well, and it kind of looks like this team's starting to do the same, especially in league play. What do you kind of attribute that to? Is it just kind of growing more comfortable in the system?
Yeah, Coach Ruda and I were talking about that. We haven't had time to – we were just at lunch, and we were talking about, we would like to kind of go back and look at our Nevada teams and see if we got better as the year went on from a turnover standpoint. But I think that was, one of the things that we stressed every day. Normally when we turn the ball over, we all do 10 push-ups, me included. Just little things to try to, like, valuing the basketball becomes so important. We use a soccer term or a hockey term, shot on goal. We every time down the floor we want to get a shot on goal. We'd rather take a bad shot than have a live ball turnover. Most of the teams I've coached, when you take a bad shot, you got a chance to go get an offensive rebound. With this team, we don't really have a chance to get an offensive rebound, but at least it's better than a live ball turnover. But yeah, I think, if you like football, you can't turn the ball over in football and win. And in basketball, especially when we're fighting for possessions and we're fighting for field goals attempted because of the opposition's ability to out-rebound us, taking care of the ball is vital. And it's not just like guard. Like at Nevada, we had the best player at not turning it over was Lindsey Drew, and he gets hurt midway through the year, and we move our power forward Cody Martin to the point guard spot, and we turn the ball over less probably. It's just valuing the ball, not making home run passes, not taking high degree of difficulty passes, and trying to be as fundamentally sound as possible. And we can't turn the ball over like a lot against Kentucky because it's disastrous when you do that.
Coach, you mentioned needing your A game to beat Kentucky. Does that, and I know it's great to have Jimmy Witt pick up the scoring when Mason and Isaiah aren't, but does your A game mean that those guys, Isaiah and Mason, are putting up a lot of points? And how important is that in this one? Or does it not matter as long as you're just scoring?
Yeah, we just got to score. Certainly, like the three ball for us is it's a, pretty beneficial when you can, get three instead of two. But I think anytime a defense focuses on something, it opens something up for somebody else. And then it's up to us to not force the issue and for us to try to figure out like what wrinkles during the game we could possibly get somebody more shot. Like I didn't go into the game against Vanderbilt thinking that Jimmy was going to take 20-plus shots. That was not anything on our play script. But he found open gaps against their zone, and they played a little bit more zone than we thought. And they had a big guy on him, and he was able to use his quickness. And sometimes you don't really know what the flow of the game's going to be till you're kind of in it. But it'd be awesome if Isaiah and Mason both played great together and shot the heck out of the three. It would certainly be really beneficial.
A lot of the attention this season's been on Isaiah, Mason, and then Jimmy Witt now scoring 30. But it seems like Desi Sills has quietly kind of had a great season. What do you think about what he's been able to do, especially kind of as a young sophomore that didn't get a lot of playing time last year?
Yeah, I think his growth and development this summer has been incredible. I know Coach Buzz Williams had talked about him being a pesky defender after the A&M game, and I think the big thing is he fought through that shooting slump that he had early on from three-point land, and he's been so good in transition for us, and he's been so good at dribble drives in the half court, getting to the rim. I think that's been maybe the biggest surprise is just his ability to finish over bigger players, getting to the cup.
When you were at LSU, did players approach Kentucky differently than other teams just with their tradition and everything? Was there a difference about that game and other SEC games?
I just think that there's just hype, I mean, sure when the Yankees come to town in Major League Baseball, there's more outside noise. There's more. So yeah, I mean, I think as a player, you should be ready to play every night. I don't think that as a player. I don't think as a coach. I think if you bring great intensity every night, like I'm not going to coach any different. against Vanderbilt or against Kentucky, like you prepare the same way, then your level of play shouldn't fluctuate like a yo-yo either. I mean, you should be ready to play every night as a player, and as a coaching staff, you should have great preparation. And you don't put, we got a game after the Kentucky game too, that becomes important. Now the buzz when you walk into the building, certainly at LSU, that was our best crowd. It was a great game. Karl Anthony Towns hit a shot right one step inside the 3-ball. I remember the whole game vividly. I can tell you every possession. It was my scout that night. So yeah, I think when when you walk in the building, there's a buzz. There's going to be a buzz Saturday. I know it. I haven't been at Arkansas when we played Kentucky, but I know there's going to be a buzz just as my phone every 10 seconds is going off with people asking for tickets. People I haven't heard from for a long time, and I got a group of buddies I grew up playing at La Jolla Rec in San Diego. They're flying in, so that, yeah, I think there's a lot of that. There's going to be, our players are going to have more family members at the game, and so yeah, there's all that. But I think from a mental standpoint, we got to go to Mississippi State, and I hope our preparation and I hope that our players' focus going there is no different than what it's going to be coming in here for a 3 o'clock tip on Saturday.
In recent history, the matchup size with Kentucky's been a nightmare for a lot of teams, especially Arkansas. How do they kind of match up vertically this year compared to maybe years past?
I mean, that's not real good news because Daniel's not walking through the door. So to hear that it was a matchup size-wise in the past, I mean, I'm assuming this is one of the smaller Arkansas teams in many, many years, I'm guessing. Thanks. I'm probably going to sleep a couple hours less now. We just got to try to, figure out, matchups and try to rebound the ball as good as we can. We've got to try to have as good a post defense as we've had. But yeah, the size is a concern, the length is a concern, the quickness is a concern, the ability to get the free throw line is a concern. Their dribble drive offense with space is a concern. Their lob threats are a concern. It's a lot of concerns.
John, what's your how would you describe your relationship with John Calipari? I know he's talked highly. You said when Arkansas played Kentucky football, he went to Jerry Jones' box and saw you guys hired a hell of a coach and all this stuff. And I guess you guys know each other from international ball. How would you describe your all's relationship?
I love Coach Cal. When I was, first of all, when I wasn't working, he used to have a coaching clinic. And a lot of the coaches that came to that clinic, he put it on with Coach Brown, and it was in Memphis, and a lot of the coaches that were there, like that's how I got to know a lot of my friends in the business. I just think he's really cares for the coaching profession. And, he speaks highly of other coaches. He understands the ups and downs of the coaching business. And when I was with the Grizzlies with Coach Fratello and Coach Cal would have a lot of late-night dinners with large groups of people at the dinners. And I went to a lot of those. They were colorful. And so I saw a lot of when his teams, when he was coaching at Memphis, I was going because obviously we played in the same building and stuff. So that year I was going to a lot of their games, and then the international stuff. I was coaching the Dominican Republic team, and then he ended up coaching it, and I went and coached the Venezuelan team. And so we got to, eat a lot because in those competitions you eat in the same, you stay in the same hotel, you eat in the same area. I think he's such an incredible X and O coach, and he's such an important part of college basketball because he's a colorful personality that's a great coach, but also somebody that does a great job of pulling the coaching community together.
Kentucky Kentucky lost last night, so they presumably won't be in a real good mood. And Arkansas hadn't beaten them; they've lost 7 in a row. What do you think about? Like nobody on this team's ever beaten Kentucky. It was 2013-14 season. They swept them in OT actually. But what do you think about that losing streak and then Kentucky coming in here off a tough loss? You know.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think Kentucky, beating Arkansas or having any type of streak. I don't think it. In my opinion, it has no bearing at all. I think every game, and it's going to sound like a broken record, but every game's got its own identity. It comes up with its own theme. The minute the refs throw the ball up, certainly with the teams that we've had after a loss, there's a heightened awareness of things that we didn't do well and we need to improve on. And many times losses grab the attention of your team more than a win. Sometimes when you win, you take for granted some of the little things. You look at Coach Cal's record, I mean, he's pretty good after a loss, I can tell you that. And so yeah, I think we're not going to get them walking down this hallway and going out on the floor where they're just walking out there. They know that they don't lose many games over the course of a 30-game season any year. So, but again, that ball's going to go up, and there's going to be some stuff that's going to happen that nobody can predict. And you just hope your team plays with incredible effort.
You've been here a while now, it feels like, and have 16 games with these guys. I was just wondering if you've noticed a difference with the Arkansas natives, maybe like Desi Sills, maybe if there's like a difference in pride of wearing that Razorback on their chest or something like that.
I think all our guys have, I'm still too new, I guess, to answer that. I need a couple more years under my belt, and because we have so many guys that are from the state, but I don't think that Desi and Isaiah and Ethan, I don't think they have any more pride than J5 or Mason Jones or Scylla. I think or Reggie. I think they all have pride. They have they're here. They chose to be here. They chose to go to college here. They chose to represent the Razorbacks. And so, in my opinion, all of our guys in our locker room are proud of playing for the Hogs, and they all have equal high level of care about outcomes of games and about representing the university and the program the right way.
Coach, you talked about some of the concerns that Kentucky's lineup can present for you. What sort of concerns can your lineup give to Kentucky?
I think that's a great question for Cal. I would love to hear what maybe I'll Google his press conference. And I don't coach his team, and Chuck Daly always said it best. You don't know another team until you're in their locker room, and I think that's kind of where some in-game adjustments start happening too. I haven't seen Kentucky play live, just as he hasn't seen our team play live, and you can watch stuff on film, and then the game's going on, and you're like, wow, that guy's a lot quicker than I thought, or that guy's a lot slower laterally than I thought, or that guy's got more length than I thought, or that point guard's way shorter than, and then, that point guard's way shorter than I thought on film. He's listed at 6'2". The guy's 5'4". Like, now we got to post up with him. So I think there's all these type of things that, that you really don't know. Like, when you play teams a second time, I do think you have a little bit better feel. But what problems, to get to I like to dodge questions, to get to your question. I don't know, like, if our traditional lineup can't play, we got to go with 5 guards, because that's what we've had to do against some teams. And he's got 5 guards to throw out there too. He can throw 7 out there at us guards. So the Kentucky team is deep, and they have bigs. They have a big lineup and they have a small lineup, and of late they've been playing 3 guards. So whatever we throw out there, I think they're going to have something to counter, because they're a little bit different than other teams that might not have the luxury of depth.
Not everybody, but their top, you know, 2-3 guys, what would you say about like a guy like Richards, a guy like Higgins? It's, you know, like if we were your team and you're giving us a scouting report or something.
Yeah, I mean, Higgins is, you know, he's a high-volume free throw attempt player. He's really quick. He runs the show. He's the heartbeat of their team. You know, Quigley's really shot the ball a lot better of late. I mean, he's on a tear shooting the ball, playing with a lot of confidence. Who else? Richards, great shot blocker, rim runner. I think he's really, really improved from a consistency standpoint. He's a, you know, I mean, he's a double-double machine. Anybody else, Bob? Maxey's phenomenal. You know, both their guards are really good, you know, defending the ball. Maxey makes big shots. He'll hit a big three. He'll dribble drive hard to his right, get to the cup, get fouled, make an and one, traditionally or old school. They're all good. What's that's over? That's actually. I mean, I remember Kyle Macy, but huh? I don't think I have.